Worried about my child's speech. I'm worried about my child. I feel like as a mom, I'm a mom and a therapist. I get that, being worried. Um, so speech sounds. So we can back up. There's speech and there's language. And what most people think about is speech as both speech and language. So we'll chat about it. So speech, by 4 to 5, your child should be understood by most strangers. So if strangers are having a hard time at 4, I would give me a call and we'll chat about if they need services. There's like the 1, 2, 3 rule. So by 1, your child should say 1 word at a time. By 2, they should be combining 2 words. So let's say at 1, they're saying apple. I don't know why they'd be saying apple, but 1, they're saying apple. 2, they're going to say eat apple. 3, they're going to be combining 3 words. I eat apple. And that doesn't necessarily, some kids gain those skills earlier, some kids gain them later, but that's kind of the rule of thumb for me. If I'm talking to a parent and they're like, oh, I have a 3-year-old and they're saying 1 word at a time, I'm going to say, yep, I think it's time to do an assessment to figure out where they're at. So that's language. Language is kind of the combination of the words, whereas speech is the production. So it's what your lips and mouth and tongue are doing in order to produce the sounds. So I work on both of those things along with social skills. So if your child is having a hard time playing or interacting with others, that might be something we can work on as well. So I work on a lot of things. Being a speech therapist is fun because I get to do new and fun things all the time. But if you are worried, sorry, I get distracted. If you are worried about your child's speech, give me a call. I love to take the time to talk it through with parents. I think that the more we can build your knowledge, even if you don't come to therapy with me, or even if you don't, even if your child is fine and on track, I'm more than willing to spend the time with you to make you feel comfortable and confident that you can identify when and if things go awry, and to help your child where they're at right now to even expand a little further. I think that there's nothing wrong with asking for a little help. I'll give you an example of that, because I think there's an ethics behind me offering services to a kid who's typical. I shouldn't offer speech therapy services to a child who's on track, because 1, that'd be taking advantage of parents, and 2, they don't need it. But if you call me up and you're like, my child, they're saying blah, 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 and it's not sounding very clear, and I know that that's on track, I might still say, oh, well, try this just over the phone. Just like with my son, he didn't have late motor milestones, but I have a good friend who's an OT, and his milestones they weren't statistically late, but they were not at exactly the dates they were supposed to be. They were 2 weeks later. So I'd get to the milestone date that it was supposed to be, and I'd be like, tell me what to do. And my friend would say, oh, well, just move his leg like this, or put him in this position and have him practice. And that would help him, and me mostly, to get him to the milestone just as 2 weeks late, as opposed to very late. So if you have a question or a concern, I probably will give you just some tips and tricks of the trade that will help you to try some things out at home. And if it doesn't work, or if they continue to struggle beyond the milestone, then of course I will take them on. So that's where we're at. If you are really concerned, just give me a call and we can chat it out. I will take the time to listen to you and figure out what your kid needs.